Well, hi, New Creation. Thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to our year together and getting to know one another a bit during our monthly times of worship together. Like you all, I am also in a time of transition after leaving my pastoral role at Bethel College Mennonite Church in June. Right now, I'm deciding what's next for me, and that means that once a month I'll be here with you all, and I will also be teaching basic issues of faith and life at Bethel this fall. Teaching and preaching are two of my favorite things in ministry because they not only provide opportunities for the wider community to grow together, but they have also provided me opportunities to continue to learn and grow as an individual. You will soon learn that one of the things that I love to teach and preach about are biblical women. I spent my years at seminary digging into feminist theology and discovering women and their stories in the Bible that I had never learned about before. I dreamed of a time where the church would cultivate spaces to honor these women and their stories so that we could learn from their courageous efforts, model their powerful messages, and create churches that embody the inclusivity that Jesus taught to all gendered disciples. During my time at Bethel College Mennonite Church, I led a women's Bible study at Bethel College that centered around biblical women and their stories. We called ourselves the Red Tenants. The term Red Tenants stems from Anita Diamond's book, The Red Tent. In this fictional novel, readers experience the lives of biblical womanhood through the vulnerable moments of Leah, Rachel, Bilhah, Zilpah, and Dinah, the wives and only daughter of Jacob. The Red Tent was a place bleeding women were sent to each month because they were seen as unclean by society and needed to be separated from the men during their natural bodily cycles. So the Red Tenants Bible study sought to reclaim the Red Tent and embody their female gifts and voices that have so often been pushed aside and labeled as unclean, even and maybe especially in the Bible. So in this new chapter of In Between, I'm thrilled to be devoting my time to doing these two things that I love about ministry. And because my own spiritual health needs some room to heal and grow, I plan to spend my time with you all going back to what made me fall in love with the Bible, the biblical women I have grown to love, model, and cherish. I hope that my passion for this area in the Bible opens up new spaces of learning and growing for all of us. While I may stray a few months on different things that are not biblical women because of current world events and church holidays, I hope to focus each month on a new biblical woman. Maybe it'll be someone that you already know, but with a new twist. Or maybe it'll be an unnamed woman that we can honor and rename together. Or maybe it'll be a woman that is new and enlightening to us because her remarkable works only had one sentence devoted to her in the Bible. I hope that in this year of learning together, we can lean into the teachings and stories that these women so courageously have shared with us. So to start us out, I bring two of my favorite biblical women, Mary and Martha. I have been fascinated with learning more about these two women over the course of my lifetime, partly because of their fame and close relationships with Jesus, but also because of their unique and contrasting personalities to one another. I find that I can resonate with both Mary and Martha in Luke 10. At times, I find myself embodying the characteristics of Martha's overly meticulous hospitality, cleaning my house for dinner guests and spending hours cooking a delicious feast for all to enjoy. And I love doing this, as it brings me so much joy to host people in my home. So COVID has been really difficult for me. And yet there are also times when my harmonizing personality causes me to give myself away too much into the service and care of others. Yes, I do enjoy this hospitality sometimes, and this service is necessary and needed for the world at times. But is this service that we embody meant to give ourselves away so much so that others are more comfortable, and in the process, we become like that stump in the giving tree? Jesus' answer to this question is no. There is a time to go and serve, but there is also a time to sit and reflect with him as we fill our own bodies with the nourishment that we need. And that's why I also love the contrast that Mary then brings to her sister in this story. Because there are other times that I find myself sprawled out on the couch reading and learning from biblical scholars about terms or themes I knew nothing about 20 minutes prior. I look forward to mornings where I can read with a cup of coffee, taking in as much information as I am able to before I officially begin my day. I view myself as a lifelong learner. In fact, I'm actually beginning a spiritual direction program through Eastern Mennonite Seminary this fall in order to become a spiritual director. Jesus wants us to be hospitable Good Samaritans and Marthas, as well as attentive listeners and reflectors like Mary. A hospitable disciple is one who serves and nourishes others and self, like this example from Luke shows. And this is Jesus' invitation to women and a message for us all, that we too are called to be his disciples in this world, teaching and learning and sharing God's love through our embodied voices. Our voice and our identities are all valid. I want to be like Mary, sitting at the feet of Jesus, reflecting with him and embodying his message of love and peace. But so often, however, I find myself in the shoes of Martha, only caring for the needs of others before my own. And Jesus, however, is calling for us to embody both Mary and Martha's hospitality of giving and receiving. A disciple of Jesus is someone who cares for others in the same way that Martha did when she was hospitable by opening up her home and serving Jesus. And yet Jesus also says that a disciple is someone who embodies Mary's hospitality of learning from Jesus in order for her to continue to grow as an individual. Jesus is validating women in this story by saying, "You too come and listen and be nourished, so you can go out and serve others with this message of love and inclusion." Care for self and others is a dual calling. As I was reflecting on these various reasons as to why I relate to both Mary and Martha and why I love them for who they are, I also wondered if they could be analogies for how the church calls us to be part of this active community. We all have different gifts and talents and resources and interests, and we need all of them. During this year of transition, I can imagine that there will be times when people in this community will be the ones being hospitable with their time, gifts, and resources. But I also imagine that there will be times when those same people will need to take a step back for a bit and receive that same hospitality from others in this community. And my hope for you all is that this ebb and flow of hospitality and caring for one another leaves room for grace when things may have been forgotten or when things don't necessarily go the way we'd hoped for or even planned that they would. During this transition, we might lean more into our Martha side of our personalities, worrying and preparing and planning for all the things that are happening. But I hope that we also remember to embody our Mary side of our personalities too. That we take time to sit back and listen to how God is working and speaking to us in this time. Because in the end, only one thing is truly needed. May we all find this time to sit and rest and learn with one another this year.